Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Ask Jimmy Smith. Today, I'm going to be diving into another Amazon FBA arbitrage tip so that you can find more products to sell consistently and profitably on Amazon FBA. And today isn't necessarily about finding more products, but how can you increase the sales on those products, those arbitrage products that you've already found? And so we're going to be talking about setting up ads, specifically 5-cent ads on each individual ASIN that you send into Amazon. So I'm going to go through the step-by-step of this. This is actually something we've been doing for almost 4 years now. Actually, whenever the video comes out, it'll probably be over the 4-year mark. But we're going to be talking about how to set up these 5-cent ASIN ad campaigns, why you should do it, and some of the, the things that you're going to have to keep up with as you move forward with this campaign. So I do have a presentation for you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. And I know some of you that love PowerPoint, you're going to love this. Some of you that hate PowerPoint, you might not, but hey, that's how I'm going to be teaching it today, because I need to show you how to set these things up. But let's go ahead and look at the results that we've had since it's, as you can see actually on the screen, July 24th, 2018 is whenever we set these up initially. And over the last 4 years, we have spent in our business $6,200 on ads specifically for the 5-cent campaigns for our arbitrage products. And we actually lump in some of our wholesale products too into this, because we put all of our ASINs into it. And I believe even some of our private label products fall into this. But either way, we're setting up automatic campaigns that Amazon is running, and we're bidding 5 cents on each of those ads that we're running. And with those 5-cent bids, we spent $6,208.23. We've sold $210,327.86, which puts our advertising cost of sale, our ACOS, at 2.95% average. And over the 4 years, there have been some months where it was 6%, some months where it was 1.5%, but we've averaged almost 3%, 2.95% ACOS. And we've had over 50 million impressions on all of those products, which is pretty insane for me to think about. But this is why you want to do it. It gives us an additional boost in how our products do from an arbitrage standpoint. The ads only run if you have the buy box. And so if somebody's searching for something and an ad pops up that's yours and they click on it, you will be bidding 5 cents typically or less for that placement. And whenever they click on it, it's going to you having the buy box for that specific product. You're not paying for ads for somebody else the way that Amazon's ad system works. You're paying for ads for you being in the buy box. And whenever they click on that ad, you are the one that would be shown to the customer. And with that, we have spent only $6,000 and sold $210,000. So to me, that's very successful. And so I'm going to show you how to set this up step by step so that you can add in all of your ASINs and then what you need to do to keep up with it as we move forward. So the next thing is, how do we set this up? So very first and foremost, you got to sign into Seller Central. I know it's a big surprise for all of you, but sign into Seller Central, go to Advertising and Campaign Manager. And from there, you click Create Campaign. And then at that point, you're going to be choosing your campaign type. So under Sponsored Products, which is right here, the far left one, select Continue. You don't want to deal with the sponsored brands or the sponsored display for this specific ad campaign. And so this is just something that it may change in the future. Maybe, you're seeing this video a year from now and the setup's a little bit different. I want to at least kind of put up that disclaimer. Amazon changes their user interface all the time, but these are the steps as of July of 2022. And so after you select that you want to continue with sponsored products, the next thing that you need to do is you need to make a campaign name. And with that, we actually use all ASIN's auto campaign. And I believe we actually put 5 cents at the end of it, so we know which campaign it is. That's what we decide to name it. You can name it whatever you want. That's completely up to you, but we decided to just make it that basic all ASIN's auto campaign because it describes what it is. The start date would be today, and then there would be no end date. We don't put an end date on this. We want this to continually run. It's been going for 4 years and going well for us. And so we don't want an end date on the campaign. Now, for daily budget, we actually use $10 as our daily budget because we didn't want to spend any crazy amounts on ads for some of these arbitrage products that don't have a bunch of profit in them anyway. I mean, there might be some where we make $2 profit. So why would I spend a bunch on ads for these products? And we typically don't even go over that $10 amount. However, I have heard a lot of people say that for whatever reason, $31 a day is the amount that Amazon wants you to spend at a minimum to know that you're serious about your ads. And so I've heard people say that whenever they switched over to $31, that it has helped them. We still have not switched over just because we've been happy with the way the $10 daily budget has gone. It also makes sure that we don't spend a crazy amount on ads. And so it just is something that we opted to do. I personally recommend for anybody that's just starting out with this to do $10 to see how it goes, so you don't start spending a bunch of money. And if you like how it goes after the first month, you can up the spend or you can leave it at $10 a day. But ultimately, we typically don't hit that $10 a day point. We are getting closer and closer to it as we've added more and more products, but it's still something that we like to have that cap on it each day. The next thing is it's going to ask you for targeting, which is where we choose automatic targeting. We're not targeting specific keywords. We're literally just putting automatic ads out there based off the ASINs that we send in. And so Amazon kind of takes care of the rest. And so for the campaign bidding strategy, because of that, there's multiple options, and we choose dynamic bids down only. We don't want our bids to go over 5 cents. We want them to be from 5 cents and less, which means that there are times when Amazon will have us, charge 2 cents for an ad because it's such a weird keyword, or maybe they look up a specific product or that specific brand and nobody's really competing for it. So we choose dynamic bids down only. We do not want to go over that amount. And then under the ad group name, we typically are calling it the previous month from whenever you're starting the ads. That would be my suggestion. So if you're creating ads for May of 2022, you would call it 5/22. So 5/22. That's how we've done it. So every month, and this is where we're going to talk a little bit about how to keep up with it. Each month, we go in and put in our ASINs for the prior month. And so if it being July right now, I just did the one for June. So I called it 6/22. That allows me to just keep up with it and know where I'm at in the ad system if I missed a month on accident. And so that's how we do it. But if you don't keep your SKUs organized by date, then that will be very difficult. And we'll talk about some other options as well here in a minute for how to add those. But the general gist of it is, if you're setting this up for the first time, you can call that first group Group 1 for all I care, or you can set it up as 6/22 and put in all of your ASINs for that product. And it's not ASINs, it's actually SKUs. They want your merchant SKUs. And so we just put all of our merchant SKUs in there. Now, I do suggest that you can see I put 500 limit per ad group is what we do. We don't like the ad group to go over 500. So if you have more than 500 SKUs, what I suggest is to do 500 at a time and then create a new ad group, in which case I would call it 522B and 522C as I continued to add more and more SKUs to my campaign. However, you don't have to do that. You can go, I believe, I don't know what the limit is. I know there used to be a limit. We limit it at 500 just so we can see more of a breakdown of, how each campaign is doing. But that's just our own personal preference. So it's up to you. You can put them all, 1,500 into one thing unless Amazon limits it. I really don't know. Didn't look it up, but we limit it to 500 in our own business per group. If we need to do more, we will just create a second one, as I mentioned earlier, with, letters B and C, et cetera. You want to add all of your SKUs to this. It doesn't matter if you're out of stock, if you're inactive on them, ads won't run. So we add them all because even though we can still have those SKUs in the ASIN ad campaign, we aren't going to be running ads for products where we don't have the buy box anyway. So it doesn't matter if they're inactive. Just put all of them in there. It's very simple. You can enter a list of your SKUs, super easy, or you can go by search and search for SKUs if you wanted to have specific ones. But what I just suggest is to add all of them. It's very easy to do. Now, once added, you're going to want to scroll down under set default bid and change that to 5 cents. It most likely will default to some crazy amount, at least to me for this campaign anyway, a crazy amount. It might say like $1.36 for an ad. You do not want to miss this part. You want to make sure that you're putting it at 5 cents as the cap, and making sure also that it's the down bidding only so that you don't go over the 5 cents. Ignore the negative keyword targeting and negative product targeting options. That does not matter for these ASIN ads. Now, in the future, if you're seeing that one specific SKU is getting a ton of clicks, but no sales for whatever reason, you could add that in as like, hey, don't target this product, but you could probably just remove the SKU anyway. And so typically, we don't mess around with the negative keyword targeting or product targeting options. And then at the bottom of the page, you can click on create ad group, and that will create your ASIN ads. So it's very simple. Repeat those steps until all the SKUs have been added. So if you added 500 into this group 1 and you need to do another 500 or 400 or whatever, then you would repeat those steps to add another ad group to that specific campaign. So you don't want to start a whole new campaign. You would be clicking into the one that you just created, adding an ad group, which I didn't put instructions for that on here. And it's very simple. Just follow those same instructions after that. Now, how do you keep up with this thing? Because it can be very easy for this to get either overwhelming. You might forget about it. You might just not even look at it and realize way down the line that, oh, I've been spending way too much money on my ads. So here's a couple of tips for that. Every month, you want to add your SKUs from the prior month. Now, typically, we are adding SKUs because we have them based off of the date that we added them to Seller Central. So we have our SKUs that they start with the date. And so it's very easy for me or somebody else on the team to go in and add those specific SKUs to an ad campaign for that month because we have them by our dates. Now, if you aren't doing it that way, then you've got a couple other options. In one case is just doing it every shipment. You could download your SKU list and add just a new one, a new ad group based off that shipment. Yes, you might have duplicate SKUs in ad groups, but that's totally fine. I've never had any issues with that, even though we've had, that case happen multiple times where we add the same SKU to different ad groups just by accident. And so it's never been an issue. So you could do it every shipment. You could just keep a track of all the new SKUs that you have added. You could go to Seller Central and sort it by the date added, and then download all the SKUs for those specific months. So there's multiple options to keep up with it. The essentials are that you want to add all of your new SKUs each month or each week or whatever's easiest for you after every shipment, so that you don't miss out on adding your SKUs to this ASIN ad campaign. Now, how do you monitor the ads campaign? You want to make sure to keep the ACOS, that advertising cost of sale, under 5%, because what that means is for every dollar you're spending on ads, we want to see that you're getting a good amount of return for that. So we had spent over $6,000 and sold, I believe it was around $250,000. So if you take the spend divided by the sales that you get, that's how you come up with that ACOS number. For us, it was almost 3%, which means that for every dollar we're selling, we are spending about 3 cents on an ad on average for our sales for that campaign. So we've sold way more than $250,000 of stuff over the last 4 years. We've sold probably pretty close to $5 million, maybe $4 million over the last, 4 or 5 years. But from the ad campaigns themselves, we've sold $250,000 and we spent $6,000. So for every dollar of a sale that we had on an ad campaign, you want to be spending less than 5 cents per dollar of sale. So ideally, just look at the ACOS number, make sure that it's under 5, and you should be good to go. The reason that I like to keep it under 5 is just because if you start getting more than that, depending on the price of your replens, that may be too low. So that may be too high if you're spending more than 5 cents per dollar of a sale, because for a $10 sale, that would be 50 cents, right? Maybe that $10 sale at 50 cents, is just too much that, ultimately you don't want to be losing on your profit for those products. Now, give it a full 30 days to test it out. So whenever you set up this campaign, I wouldn't be checking it every day to see if it's over 5%, because you might have it start out at like 10 or 12 or 15% those first few days. Or you might have it start out at 1% and you think you're crushing it. And then, by the end of the month, you're at 6 or 7%. And so we want to make sure that you're monitoring this, but give it a full 30 days to see how it works out for you. And then basically that's the steps for it. You just continue at the end of those 30 days, see how you're doing, see how your ASINs or SKUs did. Hopefully it'll be under 5% of an ACOS. If it's a little bit over that 5%, you could probably continue on with it and see how it continues to go, because I believe as it gets more and more time, it starts to perform better. But there are certain months where, we've had months where it's like 7 or 8%. And so we can either go in there and choose to turn off a certain SKU that may be causing that, or typically what we do is we just let it continue to run, and we look at the total ACOS of all of our ad campaigns, which has been whatever 4 years, probably about 48 different ad campaigns that I've got, or ad groups within that campaign. So we just let it average out, and right now it's roughly 3% total. So those are the things that you can do to monitor the campaign. There's nothing real specific. You're not getting very granular on how the ads work. You're not running it for specific keywords. You are literally just putting them all into Amazon, letting Amazon run an automatic campaign, and you're paying less than, or 5 cents or less per ad that runs only when you're in the buy box and only when you have active products. So I see no downside to this as long as you can keep it under that 5% from continually adding your ASINs each and every month. So what next? Comment below. Let me know what your experience is with setting up ads on arbitrage products. Have you done this before? Is this going to be the first time that you're doing it? If you do, come back in 30 days. Let me know how it goes. It's no guarantee of success, but please let me know how it goes for you. We've been noticing some of the ads have started to go up a little bit more lately, but we still are averaging less than 5%. So please let me know what your experience is. Also, if you're looking for any Amazon or e-commerce Facebook group, there is a free group that I love. I've been in it for 7 years. I now am a moderator in it, but it is at bit.ly/MST group. You can see it on the screen there, as well as I'll put a link in the description for you. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I really appreciate you taking the time to check out this video. I hope that this helps you set up your ASIN ads. I tried to go step by step for you. You may need to rewatch this and set them up as I go through it. But ultimately, this is something that has helped our business, even a small amount. And so I see nothing wrong with setting it up in your business, especially if you're doing arbitrage or wholesale and you just want to get all of your ads or all of your ASINs and SKUs into ads so that maybe you can get some extra sales. So anyway, I hope that this helped you and blessed you, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week.